Hello, welcome to another video of mine. It's Kemal AA, and this is another Chelsea video of mine where it's more of a talking point video. It's more on the situation with Frank Lampard. Where has it gone wrong? Is it the end for him? I'll be discussing various points and bullet points in chronological order, discussing why it really went wrong for Lampard and why his time at Chelsea is coming to an end. Talking about some of the manager situation as well, potential replacements, and essentially all the latest news as well. But before I do get into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And without further ado, let's get straight into today's talking point video. Now, starting off with the main talking point video, the main talking point of this video, and that is on Frank Lampard. Where has it gone wrong? You know, what have Chelsea done to be this bad? You know, it's gone into a downward spiral. A few bad results has turned into a crisis. Because let's be honest now, Chelsea are in a crisis. I know the table may not seem that way. I know we're ninth, but we are only 3 points off the top four. But in terms of results, this past month has been horrific. An abhorrent month we've had ever since that Leeds win. We've been atrocious. We've been absolutely abysmal. And the main question is, where have we gone wrong? And I want you guys to comment as well. Where do you think Chelsea have gone wrong? What is the main element, the main key thing that's in the past month or so, in the past 4 or 5 weeks, where Chelsea have gone completely wrong? Leave me your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. But the first thing I want to mention is, it's not just one main factor as to why Chelsea are not picking up results. They're not picking up wins, that the performance is not good enough. There's various factors, and I'll be speaking about each factor in detail in this video. The first one is the form of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, our German duo. You know, the superstar signings that cost over £130 million, heavy investment. Now, various reports from The Athletic by Simon Johnson and various other Chelsea journalists stating that, you know, Lampard's hand is slightly forced. You know, he spent this much money, and there are question marks and queries over if they were in fact Frank Lampard signings, because he's brought them in and they're superstar men, but he can't seem to find a system around them or play them to their strengths, which is understandable. He keeps playing Timo Werner out of position. You know, Kai Havertz is a natural number 10, but he's playing him on the wide or on the right hand side or as a number 8. And Kai Havertz, his form has been terrible as well. And the main thing is he playing them because he hasn't got a choice? Is there pressure from above, from the Chelsea hierarchy? Is it pressure from Roman? No one truly knows the answer to that. But the main thing we do know is their form has been terrible, and that is down to Frank Lampard's system and the way that he plays them. He's playing them out of position, and their form has been terrible. Yes, I know they've come in, new language, new league, new country, especially Kai Havertz. He's been hit terribly by COVID. He had long COVID, so he couldn't get out of his bed for about a week. That was by, you know, reliable reports. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate for him. So Kai Havertz, I understand to an extent, but Timo Werner, what's happened to him? You know, he was top 4 goal scorers, highest goal scorers in Europe, was thriving under Julian Nagelsmann in Germany. He's come into Chelsea. Yes, he scored a few goals, he's got a few assists, but in general, he struggled. I know he's adapting, but he hasn't fitted the system. And the main question is, were these Lampard signings or were these board signings? That is the main question. Because the form of those two could cost Lampard his job. You know, you spend this much money on him, you've invested this much. We essentially splashed all of Hazard's money on them too. So they have to perform. They have to. If they don't perform, that will be Lampard's downfall. That is the main key factor as to why we haven't been playing well, scoring enough goals, because of the form of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, our two superstar attacking men. The second point I want to mention as to why we haven't done well this season, why we're going into a downward spiral, is a lack of pre-season and lack of preparation. Ever since Leeds United came, we outran the Leeds United players. That was a statistic. It was proven. It's a fact. We outran them when it came to kilometres, miles. It was a superb performance. Really impressive tactical masterclass of Frank Lampard. However, you know, you have to find a way to beat these teams by not, you know, essentially burning through your stamina, because right before then, that was the end of November, we are heading for a very difficult Christmas period. Games are coming thick and fast every 2-3 days. That should have been done by Lampard. That should have been done by the coaching staff to manage that team. You know, we should have found a way to beat that Leeds United team by not wasting so much energy. You know, we outran them. Was that necessary? Not really. So many teams have beat Leeds United not by outrunning them at all. You know, it was a superb, you know, magnificent display, but it wasn't necessary because now it costs us the whole month. We've been on a shocking run of form that could, you know, ultimately cost Frank Lampard his job. And on top of that, it's the lack of pre-season. And listen, I always say that, you know, it's not really too much of an excuse because no team has had pre-season, but I do sympathise with Lampard slightly because, you know, he's bringing all these new players in, superstar signings. He's got a really fixed squad. He has to maintain it all. He has to make everyone happy. He has to allow the players to chill. It's not easy. I understand that it's not easy, and that could be another reason why that has been down to his downfall. He hasn't had enough training sessions to train with them or coach them at all. They've just been thrown into that starting 11 and they've just been allowed to play. And you can't, as Thomas Tuchel used to say, you can't just throw players in by intuition. They have to be able to be coached, but know when to dribble, when to pass, when to shoot. And they haven't been coached. And that isn't Lampard's fault because we haven't had the pre-season or games are coming every 2-3 days, so he hasn't had time to coach them, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic and everything. Again, that is another reason why our performances haven't been on par. Thirdly, lack of experience on Frank Lampard's side. He's got this Chelsea job in his only second year of managerial career. It's too early, He is a rookie because he hasn't had enough time. This was a massive gamble hiring Frank Lampard as a manager. It was a massive risk, and unfortunately, it looks like it hasn't paid off. He hasn't been. He's clearly not ready as a manager. He knows that himself, and it looks like the board know that himself. And I have to put some blame on the board here because if you knew Frank Lampard wasn't ready, why did you hire him in the first place? He did okay with Derby, nothing spectacular. He hasn't won a trophy in his managerial career. I don't think he's done anything to warrant the Chelsea job. We're supposed to be hiring world-class, proven managers with a good track record. Frank Lampard hasn't proven anything, so I don't know why he's got this. You've seen Steven Gerrard at Rangers. He's building his career, he's building his CV. That's what I wanted Frank Lampard to do, which is why I want Frank Lampard to come back to Chelsea in 5-6 years' time, go to a different club, learn your way through, learn your trades, right, build up that CV, acquire some trophies, and then come back to Chelsea. Because then I think in 5-6 years' time, when you hand Frank Lampard the project, he will thrive, he will succeed. I just think now the job is too soon. I appreciate what he's done with the Paul Power, the signings, and achieving top 4. I appreciate it, but going forwards, for Chelsea to take that next step, to go to that next level, we need to hire a world-class proven manager if we want to win the likes of the Premier League, a Champions League, etc, etc. The fourth reason why Frank Lampard has been atrocious in this past month and it's been leading to our downfall is a disharmony in that squad. Now, the main reason why there's disharmony is because our squad is so thick. We have a lot of players. We have 5 centre-backs and 5 left-backs, 3 goalkeepers. I could go on and on. Our squad is incredibly high in numbers. It's too big. It's incredibly big, and it also contributes to our wage bill. It hurts us financially and it hurts the morale of the team. You have a lot of senior players in that team that want to play for their national team because the Euros are coming up in the summer. And if they're not getting regular game time at Chelsea, they're obviously going to start, spreading disharmony because they want to play. They want to play for their national teams. So naturally, it's difficult for Frank Lampard. I don't blame him because we couldn't offload these players because of the pandemic. He's kept them in the squad and they're just training. They're just in the reserve team because they can't play. You can only have 11 players on the pitch. Like Emerson needs to make it for the Italian national team. Alonso, he's going to want to try and make the Spanish squad. You've got to keep Giroud happy. He wants to make the French national squad. You got so many players. You've got Fikayo Tomori who needs game time, who needs to improve in his development. You've got Rudiger who wants to make the German national team. Kepa, Azpilicueta. You've got so many players in that squad that are not getting game time, which is not Lampard's fault. But the problem is these are senior players where if you don't keep them happy, you are in trouble. And as the Athletic report came out, there is a lot of disharmony in the squad because, the players not playing. They want to play for their national teams and they're not getting enough minutes in their squad. So, again, that's the fourth reason why it's caused a massive downward spiral. The fifth reason, again, I kind of touched upon it, is that massive fixed squad. We have to offload players. This window that we're in currently, the January transfer window, the priority has to be offloading players. We shouldn't be signing anyone really. Anyone that can improve our first 11 because we have, in my personal opinion, the top 3 best squads in Europe. Right? It just hasn't been utilised properly and this is based on potential. Right? Lampard hasn't warranted anything to have any sort of incomings in. We need to be focusing on offloading the squad, offloading players, reducing that wage bill and gaining some cash in and try and, balance the books essentially. We shouldn't be focusing on any signings. This is all be about offloading players. The final part is the notorious poor run of form during the Christmas/January period. Now, this has happened for the past 3-4 years. This has to be a culture thing. This has to be a club thing. But ever since we won the title under Conte 4 years ago, ever since then, we've always been poor during this period. We always have a fantastic start to the season. We have a fantastic October, November. It hits Christmas and then we dip in form. It's happened for the last 4 years. I don't know why. Is it due to a lack of fitness? Is it due to a lack of depth or quality? What is it? But the problem is this time around, we do have the depth and quality. We do have the depth. We do have players. So that shouldn't be an excuse. I could understand 3 years ago, last 3 years on the Conte's second season, Sarri's first season, Frank Lampard's first season, because our squad is thin. We haven't got enough quality. So I understand that excuse, but not now. We have a lot of depth and quality. We should not be this poor. We shouldn't. I don't care if there's COVID. Every club is suffering. Every club. I'm suffering. You're suffering. Everyone's suffering. We're playing games every 2-3 days. This should not be an excuse. And I think those are the 5-6 reasons to why it's led to Lampard's downfall. And unfortunately, it is what it is in that regard. But I'm going to wrap up the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, remember to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below.